First of all, what did this investigation discover when it comes to human trafficking, drug cartels, and Facebook? How big is this problem on social media?
Well, the problem is gigantic, and I was one of the founding board members of the National Coalition on Sexual Exploitation, and it's been a bigger and bigger problem, especially when we talk about the crackdown on conservative sites or Christian sites, because they say on Facebook that the cost of doing business in Africa and the Middle East is allowing all these different businesses to use it. These businesses are sex slavery. These businesses are trafficking. One of the reports in the Wall Street Journal is about a woman from Africa who was brought to, the Saudi Arabian area, and she became a slave. And she tried to escape, and she had signed a contract that she couldn't. So this is common. And when we look back at the horrors of slavery, well, anybody will tell you who's concerned about this issue that there's more slavery today than there's ever been in terms of sex slavery, et cetera. So these cartels are using Facebook. Facebook has said we're going to address the issue. They've never really addressed it. It's Facebook's own employees that have brought this to people's attention, and yet they're denying other people from using Facebook. It's a very strange situation.
You have another report on your site about the Babylon Bee getting involved in holding high-tech companies to protect social media users. What's that all about?
Well, that's the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is, we actually, I think our video on Facebook went up 416% last year. And so we've had a good run with them. But a lot of people, a lot of my friends who have wonderful ministries have been excluded from Facebook, and for absolutely no reason at all. Of course, some of them have been flagged by Facebook because they're pro-life, which most of us are pro-life. We believe in babies. I've got 15 grandchildren. I'm very concerned that they have a good life. And for other issues that are common to the faith of Christians. So these groups have been excluded. Meanwhile, so the Governor DeSantis of Florida and Babylon Bee and many other people, I signed one of the petitions, have petitioned to open this up so they stop discriminating against conservative groups and especially against Christian groups. And I hope they don't ever discriminate against CBN.
Well, switching gears now, Dr. Baehr, to a movie review of one releasing this weekend called The Starling. What's that about?
Well, The Starling is about a couple who's looking forward to having a baby. Now, there's a pro-life issue. The director we've interviewed him has a very clear faith. But the starling, the baby dies, is stillborn, so the couple just disintegrates. The man is so depressed that he tries to commit suicide. He's now in care in a home for his situation. His wife is struggling to make things work. Their whole marriage is disintegrating. And how do they get together again? So there's positive references to faith in church. And I teach a class. I was head of a department at Berkeley and head of a department at City University of New York. I teach a class in filmmaking, and I got to tell you that a lot of the Christians who come in make the same error. They think that you've got to have foul language, which is probably the leading problem with the film, and you have to address subjects in a very difficult way. There's a lot of movies that were very clean, including It's a Wonderful Life, that actually is a movie about suicide, but it never descends into that area. So The Starling is a good movie. It's made with a strong Christian heart to it. Unfortunately, it shows the church well. Unfortunately, they decided to pepper it. So we had to give it a -2, which is our extreme caution to say a lot of people should not watch it. And that's just a question of learning how to do movies in a better way. I could give you a whole set of movies that address the same issues without ever stooping to conquer. And I teach that in the class. I teach you make more money. In fact, the more foul language you put in a movie, the less money you make. The more violence you put in a movie, the less money you make. And we do those numbers every year. We look at 100% of the films that open in 750 theaters or more. We look at almost all the major streaming films. And if you look at the top streaming films last year, none of them contained foul language, and only 80% didn't have any sexual material. I mean, it's amazing. You look at the numbers, and the numbers say that if you want to succeed on social media, and that's not because of what we do, that's because the average person in America who's not located in New York or Los Angeles wants to see the good, the true, and the beautiful, and wants to see films that do represent problems, but they represent them in a positive way. I'll tell you, The Name of the Father, the Kendrick brothers film that's out right now, represents some of those problems in a very positive way and is a wonderful movie.
All right, Dr. Ted Baehr of MovieGuide.org. Thank you so much for your time today, sir, and your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.